Hello and welcome to the Analog Leftie. My name is Elise. So 6 months after buying my first fountain pen, I thought I was ready for another one. I've been using my Pilot Kakono regularly, but I started searching for another that could be an alternate and hold a different ink. So in today's video, I'll talk about my second fountain pen, which is the Asvine V126. I was really liking having a vacuum filling converter for my Pilot Kakono because of the capacity and convenience of it. And I think I focused my search for my second fountain pen to allow for a vacuum filling mechanism as well. So I think I honed in on that specific criteria. It turns out there weren't a lot of vacuum converters like the Pilot Con 70, but rather pens having built-in vacuum filler systems. However, most popular brands of that type are quite expensive for my budget, especially as someone who's just starting out with using fountain pens. Um, I think the Pilot Custom 823 currently retails for around 400 Canadian dollars, and the Twisby Vac is around $100. And then I saw Michael Lampard, a fellow YouTuber and Leftie, post a review about Asvine V126, which is a vacuum filler fountain pen from a brand that I haven't come across yet. And so I looked into other videos and it seemed to have good reviews from other YouTubers. So I decided to give it a shot, especially with the price point being less than 50 Canadian dollars. It was right up my alley. As with most things I plan to purchase but have never heard of, I try to learn as much as I can about the company that makes the item. So, initial Google search results brings up Asvine's Amazon store. But there is a lack of company website. They do have a Facebook account, and if we go take a look, they're also called Ezibuy, and they have an Instagram account and an Etsy store. And if we go check out their Amazon storefront, we start to see that they also have other fountain pen brands on their store, like Hongdian. There it is. And also Jinhao. And of course, Asvine. And if we go to their Instagram account, we also have Mahjong. And let's check this one out. This is Asvine. And this is Jinhao. So it's the same with their Amazon storefront. And if we go check out their Etsy store, we see a more comprehensive list of pen brands that they sell. And we see it again, Jinhao, and then Asvine, and then Hongdian. So what we know from here is there is a consistency that throughout their shops and social media accounts, they do sell different brands of fountain pens. And I guess with the lack of company website, the consistency is reassuring. If we take a look further, we can see here that the contact for the Etsy store is Sally. And let's just zoom in at her photo right here. I did find the Twitter account for Asvine, and the owner of the account is Li Xiaohong. I also found out that Asvine has a US trademark, and the trademark owner is Xiaohong Li, which ties back to the Twitter account. And if we compare the photos, it looks like that's the same person. So that's reassuring. So, other than that, I'm not sure if Asvine manufactures their own pens and is just distributed by Ezibuy, or if Ezibuy manufactures all the pen brands, or if they just really distribute all the fountain pen brands to the global market. But since it's a Chinese company, it'll be difficult to find out information that are not currently readily available to the Western market. It would have been nice to have more information about the company and the manufacturing of the fountain pens, but nonetheless, we're here to look at the pen that we have right here. So I have the Asvine V126 in the fine nib in the frosted black acrylic body. And right now it retails for around 41 Canadian dollars. And I chose the black one because, as usual, I was going for a more low-key, understated pen. But the transparent teal with gold nib and accents also spoke to me. So if ever I end up getting another one of these, I might go for that colorway. It came in this box. Not really a huge fan of the packaging and the Comic Sans font, but the exterior doesn't matter. What matters is what's on the inside. Inside, there's also another box. I think it's a polypropylene box, and it has a frosted finish. Actually, kind of like this box because if you just take out the foam, which I'm attempting to do right here, you can use it as a pencil case. Yeah. And inside the box, we have an instruction manual which explains how to use the vacuum filling system and also some instructions to maintain the fountain pen, like what sort of inks to use and how often you should clean the pen. Being new to fountain pens, I'm not sure yet what the price tag on a pen means for its quality, but to me, this looks and feels robust. In terms of longevity, only time will tell, I guess. I do like the feel of it on my hands. It's not slick as you would expect from more transparent and clear plastic pens. There's a nice heft to it, which I think comes mostly from the vacuum fill mechanism inside the pen body. If you make a pen that is transparent or translucent, it makes it easier for people to notice imperfections, so it calls for more attention to detail. So I really appreciate that the pen clip and the logo aligns with the nib faced up. So if we uncap this and put the cap back on like this, I guess this would be like 1 and 2 turns, and you can see that the clip and the logo aligns with the nib faced up. So I really appreciate that attention to detail. Another thing that I like is the presence of rubber O-rings on the threaded parts of the pen, like here towards the blind cap and also here where the section and the body meets. It's a nice safety precaution to have to avoid friction and stress that may cause cracks and damage when putting the pen parts together. I really like the vacuum filling mechanism of this pen. It's so easy and convenient to use, although it might not show that way in the B-roll because I was struggling to shoot it. Anyway, to refill the pen, you simply unscrew the blind cap completely, carefully pull the lever up, fully immerse the nib up to the front end of the grip section of the pen where you can see a tiny hole. Hold the pen with one hand and push the blind cap down with the other until you hear the pop and see the ink draw up into the reservoir. Science. Some reviews say that doing this twice will fill it up more, but I'm okay with just doing it once. Instructions in the manual does say to just refill up to 80%, probably to avoid leakage or like sudden vomiting of the pen if that happens to you. But yeah, this pen stores a lot of ink. I'm bad at estimating, but I think it stores 5 to 7 more times ink than my Pilot Con 70 converter. And the pen being translucent also allows you to see how much ink it has left, and albeit you can't clearly see the ink color, it's still satisfying to just watch it swirl around inside the pen body. Now let's talk about actually using this pen. So, because my hand is small, I don't need to post the cap when I use the pen. It becomes a little back heavy. Like as you can see right here, it's just the perfect size. It's a friction post and it it posts pretty securely, albeit a little wobbly, but that's if you just wiggle it on purpose. I mean, if you leave it alone and just write normally, it's pretty secure. So, if you need to post the cap, it shouldn't be a problem. The section is rounded, unlike my Pilot Kakono, which has the finger placement, but I think I already got into the habit of holding my fountain pen in the tripod grip. Um, so yeah, I'm okay with it, and I like that my fingers don't reach the threads, so the threads don't dig into my fingers or like into my hand when I use the pen. Coming from mainly using a Pilot Kakono, writing with this pen took some getting used to. For one, you have to learn a new habit of unscrewing the blind cap so that the ink could flow from the reservoir to the section to the nib, especially if you're gonna be doing long writing sessions. Another is I found out that even if this is a fine nib, it's still thicker than the Pilot fine nib. And that's when I learned that Japanese nibs tend to run finer, which makes sense because of how intricate Japanese characters are. Anyway, because this is a little broader than the Pilot Kakano that I had, I think I had to find the sweet spot or the good angle to lay down the nib on the page. And once I figured that out, it's smooth sailing from there on. I didn't replace the pen even if the nib wasn't what I was expecting. As you know, a thicker nib means more ink on the page, longer dry time, and higher risk of smudging. But you know what? I thought this unexpected turn of events is my opportunity to try out a thicker nib. And maybe, hopefully, if it works out, branch out in the future. So I tried it out on MD paper, and the dry time isn't that much longer compared to my Pilot Kakano. And actually, the thicker nib showcases some of the shading qualities that the Pilot Iroshizuku Yamaguri ink that I have refilled in this pen. So that is such a nice surprise. Like, I just love having that discovery. While I focused my search for a fountain pen that has a vacuum filling mechanism, a couple more things that made me decide to get this pen, aside from it being affordable, is that Asvine offers nib replacements, so I can switch to extra fine or medium if I wanted. And they also have repair and maintenance kits available on Amazon. And I didn't realize how important it was to have those things until I needed to refill and clean out this pen. Like, you would really need that wrench to get inside the body and give it a thorough cleaning. So I like that they have those available on Amazon, and it's so accessible for people to have. Overall, I'm happy with my Asvine V126. It definitely fulfills the need of having a large capacity, and it's a great workhorse pen, and I've been using it for like long journaling sessions. And also, I was able to try out using a thicker nib, and that's expanded my horizons. So I want to know if you have this pen. Like, if you've had it for a while, how is it holding up? Do you like it? Do you have any issues with it? If not, do you use other vacuum fill fountain pens? Let me know in the comments below. And if you made it to the end, as always, I appreciate your time and you for being here. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.